I wanted to make a video about addressing burnout. I'm doing this with the goal of hopefully helping somebody out there that is also dealing with the same issue. I think it's important to find a place where you feel a healing environment, because many of the environments that cause burnout are either toxic environments or environments which become toxic after a while. A lot of stuff to do with burnout is where you just can't maintain something. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience of high school. Yeah, basically I had a pretty awful high school experience. I was hated, I was in exile, and I got really tired of the people. Ultimately, I ended up just letting all of them go and finding a quiet place where I could peaceful place in nature where I could reconnect with myself and realize that all those people didn't really matter that much, and that they had their own lives and I had mine. Anyway, how I relate that to dealing with burnout: I was burned out with people, and I was burned out with high school, and I was burned out with that environment. It was very much like a juvenile prison system, the place that I went to. For all sorts of burnout in my life, I've basically tried to find things that matter to me and that have meaning. I did end up getting addicted to video games, of course. I think video games for a lot of people provide sort of a safe environment that they can come back to no matter what they lose in real life. I lost my home, I lost so many things that matter to me. So having a virtual world that doesn't get destroyed, that doesn't get taken away, is pretty important. It meant something to me because it was stability where I did not have stability. It's a little bit difficult for me to say this stuff because I'm often having flashbacks of what happened. I found some things that do help though. EMDR is something that I've been experimenting with recently. Going out in nature is something that I probably should do more. I think it's important to be able to find a place of peace in yourself, even if that means going outside to do it, or even in a video game. Just find some place that helps stabilize how you feel so that no matter what you go through in life, you have some means of finding stability. I've been through burnout where I didn't really know how to deal with it before. I think finding ways within yourself too to maintain inner peace is important. There was this book I read years ago called The Power of Now, where I basically learned how to meditate. I think meditation is fairly important too. Being able to go within yourself and find a place of peace no matter what chaos goes on around you. That does mean something, and it's a skill. And often I forget that I have that skill. I'm no expert on dealing with life, but there's some things that I do know how to do. I've learned how to weather the storm and survive and find peace after enough things have happened to me that would probably have caused many people to kill themselves. Just remember that no matter what happens on any particular day, that day will end and another day will begin. And there'll be some days that are more difficult and some days that are easier. And the easier days are more numerous than the difficult ones, in most cases. When I went through a time of difficulty which lasted for a prolonged duration, I knew deep down that eventually that situation would change and that it couldn't continue like that forever. And that's exactly what happened. The situation changes, and I think that's what's important to remember with burnout. The situation will ultimately change eventually, sooner or later. But it's how it affects you that has more lasting results, I think, is how the burnout or the situation affects you. It has an effect on the personality. It has an effect on a person's ability to function, such as doing work or maintaining a job. See, sometimes a person loses so much that they also lose certain desire for the things that were once important to them. Or a person loses a loved one or goes through something that they never expected. or couldn't have expected. It's important to remember that everybody is on a different level of dealing with their own situation and their own life, and everybody makes these mistakes that hopefully we learn from. But I think my overriding message is that find something good that actually has some benefit to you, that has value. I've often found that helping others or doing something good for somebody else makes me feel like I have meaning. It's when I get selfish and focus on myself that I often lose track, and like I don't have a good enough reason to do what I do. I'm not sure how similar I am to many of you, but I am aware that many people are very similar, even though on the surface it seems otherwise. I don't really know whether or not my channel will ever really pick up or take off or any of that, but I think if I can turn this into something that either helps people or makes people laugh, then it'll at least have meant something to me. Anyway, have a good day.